And I'm trying to send you something else.
Wow, wow, wow. Welcome one, welcome all. There's not a better time to be alive than now. No better place to be than right here on your program here on Sankofa on Galaxy Universal Network. What are we doing here? We are discussing the past, we're evaluating the present, and we are focusing into the future. And we're looking at African culture, African politics, African education, religious systems, social structures, technology, food, and everything else between. The whole idea is to allow the African children to begin a conversation with themselves, looking into the events that have led to our present conundrum, our present troubles, our present political unrest, religious mischief that is happening, and social injustice that are happening. What could be the root cause of all these issues that are bombarding the African child? We hear of independence and we hear of liberation, we hear of freedom, but it looks like we are still not free. We are sick, we are poor, we are locked away. In the midst of so much resources and so many resources, one can only wonder, how does a country, how does a continent end up in this situation? And we bring guests to you, important, powerful guests from all walks of life, from the streets to the offices, to the echelons of power, including the religious circles, so that we can unpack and unravel and bundle. In good English, we can debunk this great African phenomenon in all its frames. And today we have two powerful guests, and one of my guests is still on his way coming here. And but now my main guest is already in the house, Dr. TONI LUCH, and she comes to us with a hive of information, a warehouse of information. She's a Hebrew Israelite, an Afro-American, Black American, whatever they want to call them. It looks like these Europeans and Americans keep on changing names. They don't know what to do with the black people. We are the only race that has had to see an evolvement in the change of names from a nigger, sorry, I know it's not allowed on public media, from a nigger to a Black American to an Afro-American, American this, and they keep on changing, as it were. But I think I've just settled in my heart. I'm Al-Keblam, I'm black and I'm African. You can change all of the suffixes and prefixes, nothing will change. And for today on our show, to get us started, is Dr. TONI LUCH. After how many years?
Too many years, man. Too many years. I've sent you a lot of things. Now I'm going to close my computer.
Okay.
And let me first say, it is so good to see you. Shalom.
Shalom. Shalom aleichem.
Yes, aleichem. And we're just grateful for your life.
Oh.
I am so grateful for your life, really. I take you as my son. I'm 70 and you just turned 51.
Yeah.
So
I'm just behind 20 years behind.
Yeah, 20 years
behind
is too many.
Someone only had 2 kids by then.
Sometimes I look at you and I think when I'm watching, I'm saying, oh, this is a man of God, so wonderful. I'm always inspired by your words of truth.
Thank you.
And power. And I'm always inspired that you're not afraid, because we're in a time now where we need a David who runs toward Goliath, who runs. He didn't wait for Goliath to come toward him. He ran toward Goliath. And we have to run into the roar. The time is now where we must run into the roar. So I thank you for that. I just want to take a few minutes just to talk about you and your ability to unpack the scriptures in a way that we have not seen before. Because remember, when you talk about look back, we come out of a Roman Catholic / Protestant environment, Reform, conservative, where there's 2,000 different Christian amalgamations of trying to talk about Jesus, and of course you and I know he's Yeshua. There's no J in Hebrew, but it's okay because God said he
will get there.
He honors his word above his name, so it's okay.
Yeah. But I want us to get there. At one time, I want us to unpack that.
We'll talk about, but I just hope that your audiences across the world appreciate you. You know, every morning I listen to something you've said because you have so many things. So when, you know, I get up around 3 for my prayer time, and I do have a few things that I listen to. One of my dearest friends and mentor, Miles Monroe, I listen to him in the morning. I listen to you,
Lord
and then I have my
soul,
bless his soul. You know, I'm still mad at him though because
he went away.
He could
too
not
early, man.
really. It was you know, and I'm not one of those who say. I guess we have to always say in the end is Yah's will, but I'm not always ready for it to be Yah's will for that. You know, some things. You know, we have a brain.
Okay.
You know, we have a brain, and we should use it well. So, should eat well, think well, sleep well, do those things. But anyway, great man of God, because he also, like you, talked about the kingdom of God. And see, the challenge that we're facing is we're competing with the church and the kingdom of God, and they're not the same.
Wow.
They're not the same.
Before I know you're already moving into the content.
Okay, but you've done it. I'm just saying you, so I'm giving you kudos. Thank you, Lord, for bringing my son back to my face after all these years.
And he comes with more bush on his face.
Yes, you wisdom though.
Oh, thank you.
The bush is wisdom.
But I want many of my friends and guests out there may not know who is Dr. Tony LUCH in terms of just a basic introduction. Maybe just give us a small little half a minute or 1 minute little.
You want me to talk about myself? I sent forward my short bio. You want me to tell you?
Oh, just toothpick from you, Derek. Just some few punchlines. You know, where does she come from? How did she grow up? How did she?
Well, I'm a kidnapped African.
You kidnapped African.
That's how I feel.
Okay.
I'm a kidnapped African, mistakenly born in America because of the international and horrific slave trade. And I grew up in America. For many years as what you called a Negro. We call that negative growth. That's where the Negro comes from. And we've been everything, as you said, nigger, coon, black, strap. We've been everything called. And there's a reason for that, which I hope we'll be able to unpack sometime today. Grew up in New York.
New York City.
New York City, Brooklyn girl.
Yeah.
I came to Africa
The Bronx.
almost. No, not the Brooklyn.
Brooklyn.
There's 5 boroughs, of course, in New York, and Bronx is one of them, which is quite the opposite end of the city from Brooklyn. But everybody hears about the Bronx, but everybody also hears about the Brooklyn Dodgers, the baseball. And I had a very interesting childhood in the 50s. You know, we knew we were black. We dealt with all the things we had to deal with, but my growing up was fairly normal until busing, and then I was one of the first bus kids to a white neighborhood. So I saw firsthand the anger of white women who were there to say, bust them out the way you bust them in. I was 13 years old. I mean, I grew up in a very kind of integrated neighborhood, mainly black, but all of our merchants were everything. We had black, we had Italian, we had Spanish, we had Jewish, we had white Europeans. So we never kind of had that in our face like that, even though America was the neighborhood was eclectic enough, because then in segregation everybody was there. So rich black people were there, poor black people were there, rich few white people were there. I grew up in a neighborhood that boasted Congresswoman Shirley Chisholm, singer Carmen McRae. So at the time everybody was in the neighborhood before quote unquote integration, and which I don't call integration, it's assimilation. And so
management,
managing our movement so they can tell. So it's a whole nother, that's a show for 3 weeks. And then I came to Africa, went to school. I went to law school. I went to seminary.
Law school?
I went to law school, yes. I went to law school. I went to seminary. And I went to Georgetown Law. I went to Yale for seminary. I went to Hebrew University. working on my doctorate and in the School of the Prophets in Israel. So education-wise, I got a little bit, but still, most of the education we get in America is designed for us to be them.
Yes.
It's not designed to find me in Africa in African clothes and African minds.
And by the way, just off the record, it's on record, but I cannot say off the record. You looking,
thank you.
You're looking stunning.
This Ashoki is about 22 years old. It was given to me by a head of state in Nigeria, and I'm just loving it so much.
Wow.
And these bracelets belong to Mama Winnie. So I'm
Winnie Mandela.
Yes, my best friend for 21 years.
Okay. Well, guys, I hope you can get a shot of that.
Yeah, he told me I couldn't have this one on because it was green, and I told him I'm too bad. He'll have to make a plan.
I will make it. Well, and you dress up just like a queen on the continent.
We thank God.
You're looking stunning. I mean,
so I've been in Africa maybe, I first came to, my first country was Nigeria.
Okay.
And then I went home to Israel. My family is from Israel. We've traced ourselves back to the tribe of Judah.
Okay.
And our first families went to Israel in 1967. So for every 3 years of Israel's existence, we've been there 2 years.
Wow.
And that's where I went to school. I went to school in Israel. My youngest son was raised in Israel, fluent Hebrew, speaks Hebrew. Not me, I can read it, but talking, I don't stay there long enough to talk. And we traced from a biblical standpoint, I had to defend my argument about who we were at Oxford to talk about the geographical and anthropological reality of the Bible. Not this religious.
Not religious.
No. Just where did the things happen? Because as a biblical scholar, I'm caught by the context. So, before you have a content,
you need context.
You have to have a context. So, geographically, anthropologically, contextually, everything that's going on before Paul gets on a boat to go to Europe.
To Rome. To the Gentiles.
To Rome, to the Gentiles, it's happening in Africa. First of all, there's no such place as Middle East.
Yes.
So you're either on the continent of Africa or the continent
Only
of
until
Asia.
the Suez Canal was dug there. And it's a small little.
A little small thing.
And Madagascar is 100 kilometers plus away in this part of Africa.
Please, all of it.
And yet the Middle East is separated by a Suez Canal.
Yeah, there's no such thing, though, as the Middle East.
It's not such thing.
And that was done to sever all of those wealths. But if you go to Genesis 15, God is very clear about the deed he gave to Abraham for the land of Israel, not the modern state of Israel. Actually, the modern state of Israel would be, in God's mind, the four corners of Jerusalem, the city. But the biblical state, country, land of Israel goes from Ginger, Uganda, where the Blue Nile starts.
I was there.
I was there.
Right on the Lake Victoria, where the
Nile starts.
Yes,
the Blue Nile
where the water bubbles from
That's right. That's right. All the way up to Baghdad, Iraq, where the Euphrates ends. And all those countries in there is considered the land of Israel.
Isn't it amazing? Isn't it amazing that our scientists would know where the River Nile is, but they don't know where Eden is? It's amazing.
No. But darling, the thing is, they know. They don't want to know.
It's the education. It's just
they don't know. They're educated. They don't want to know, because to know, if they know and they know that they know. Then they have to reframe every single thing they've said about themselves and about us.
Wow.
About the European captivity, the African context, the North American captivity. And there's a reason, which we'll talk about hopefully today, but they would have to change every single
whole narrative has to change.
Everything, every book, everything.
I see the horses are galloping. I want to just maybe for the sake of my greater audience out there and myself also, what brings you back to the continent? What brings you back to the continent? You start in Nigeria, then you end up in South Africa.
God made me come back. Okay, for your greater audience, I'm going to tell them myself. I was really a white woman in a black body.
A coconut.
a real
brown outside.
I don't even know.
White on the inside.
I don't even, maybe Oreo cookie.
And by the way, she brought me some nice cookies here, some nice muffins
that
are white on the inside.
No white in between. There was nothing about Africa that was attractive to me, ever. We grew up with Tarzan and Jane on Saturday morning. Everything we heard about Africa was
jungles, people swinging from trees.
And people dying and children starving. And my trajectory, I was a rare person, a rare black Republican. Please don't connect me with the one now in the office, but you know, a rare black Republican. And my trajectory was to be a very powerful American. I'm an American. I didn't even put African in front. I'm an American. My family fought in the Revolutionary War. We can trace our stuff. We American. So that's what my daddy said, and that's what we said. And then I met a wonderful man who was at the time the attaché, the military attaché for Nigeria, assigned to the United Nations. And just a lovely man. He's now General Marwa, but at the time he was Colonel Marwa, and at the time I was a pastor. So here is this American, very American, American in every way, non-Christian pastor interfacing with this amazing Muslim man.
Wow.
And he tells me at the time Nigeria was having a lot of trouble because of Ken Sawiwa, and I had spent 10 years in an oil company.
Okay.
And so he asked me if I would go and meet with the president. At that time was General Abacha. Well, of course, you know, I checked with all my friends at the State Department, and you know, Nigeria was on every bad list you could think of, and the president was certainly a despot and worse than
no-go area.
No, just no-go. And it just so happened, though, at the time, I was also given a fellowship to be part of the C.S. Lewis Foundation fellowship in Oxford. Okay. So I say that to Colonel Marwa and a group of other people, and he says, well, since you're on that side of the world, could you go and stop by, which is not really.
While you are there, pass by,
because the plane at that time. Remember those years, you couldn't come straight to Africa.
You need to go via Europe,
go to Europe,
and then
every
down.
trip you had to go via Europe. And thanks a lot to Ambassador Erica Bennett, who runs the Diaspora in Africa Forum, and a lot of other people pushed to have those routes changed. That many years, there's a lot of people fighting. Lots of war about the things we enjoy now. We don't know those people who are behind. But anyway, long story short, I pack an Africa bag.
From Oxford?
No, in America.
In America?
I pack a bag just for Africa that has cleaning supplies. It's terribly embarrassing.
Oh, sanitizers and sprays and repellents.
Repellent. Now remember, I agreed to go for one day. I have a suitcase. Now at that time I used to, I guess, dress like Jackie Kennedy. So I had a bag for my hats, a bag for my shoes, a bag for my clothes. Right? So then I had my Africa bag.
Yes.
Well. I get to Oxford first. We're ensconced in Keble College, which is lovely. It's run by a wonderful man. My name is Stan Matson and his crew. And then we go out to the Kilns, which is C.S. Lewis's house. And you know, when you have a white mind, when your mind is messed up, I mean, when you have a white mind in a black body, you just assume everything white is perfect and wonderful. You just assume that. And white people's ice is colder, their water is wetter.
Their country is nicer.
Everything
is more beautiful.
So we get out to C.S. Lewis's house, and it looks like Appalachia. It has been left to be run down. It has not been well cared for. We have to clean it. And I am the only black among like 25, 30 people, scholars, volunteers. So I start out by saying I don't do windows. I can't mess up my nails. But we have to go into my Africa bag. Because like you know, there's no comment, you know, all the things we have in America that's just perfect, right? To clean up. Okay, so I decide there's no way I can go to Africa now because
my detergents are being wasted in Louis' house here.
I'm so ashamed. But I'm 70 years old now, I don't care. When I was 30 years old or something. Well, the bag gets finished. I try to go to Mark & Spencer and fix it. I try to replace it.
Yeah.
I then call the colonel and say, it's unfortunate, I have an emergency, I can't go.
You cancel the trip.
Oh, he says, no, Pastor, it's not possible. Everybody's waiting for you and the team. The other team is flying in from another place and blah, blah, blah. Okay, so I am just outdone. What am I going to do? I'm going to catch everything. You know, I had to take certain shots before we left, but now I'm going to get everything. I'm going to Africa. Those poor people, they don't have nothing.
No.
Well, fly into Nigeria.
Let's hold it right there. We're leaving Oxford with a bag filled and full of things.
Empty. Pretty much empty.
You did not replenish this?
Because Marks and Spencer doesn't have the things
that
I came from America, so I got a few things, but not enough for my comfort.
Let's we'll be back after the break as we are tracing the journey of Dr. Toni LUCH. And I'm doing this deliberately because it's not the last time we're going to have her on the show. We're going to have her again, but I always appreciate when we are engaging our guests, we know them better so that we understand the worldview from where they are coming from. And here with me in the studio today is none other than Dr. Toni LUCH. We're going to have a good time here. Don't go away. We'll be back right after the break.
Feel the heat.
All right. To make it through this journey alive, you're gonna need someone to teach you the ninja way.
Don't just stand there, kill someone! Feel the excitement. Feel the heat with StarSat.
Hello. Being a legal practitioner in South Africa in these challenging times demands lawyers that will help clients beyond legal issues. The ever-changing demands in commerce and tourism require lawyers who have sound and clear business and commercial knowledge, and that's where MB Chabangu Incorporated comes in. Our business, mining, tourism, health, labor, and economic knowledge encapsulated with law and litigation experience gives us an advantage in the legal sphere. Our experience in assisting businesses, government, and various industries with their needs puts us amongst the many progressive and striving law firms in South Africa. Now, to contact our attorneys for assistance with any of the mentioned fields and others, please call us on 012-341-4 4187 or send us an email on admin@chabangu.co.za. MB Chabangu Incorporated, where problems meet solutions.
Feel the heat.
Alright. To make it through this journey alive, you're gonna need someone to teach you the ninja way.
Don't just stand there, kill someone! Feel the excitement. Feel the heat.
You see my cup?
You allow me to be enjoying
see
my
my cup?
I've been blessed today by a small little cup
see
of.
my cup?
I see your cup. Oh, the cup has got Winnie Mandela
And me.
And you guys.
And her 80th birthday.
You guys were friends for 21 years.
21 years till the day
And
she died.
I've been blessed with a cup of ginger also
Ginger
here
tea,
to
yes.
be enjoying myself. Welcome back, welcome all to our show here again with Dr. Tony LUCH. We are having some conversation, and old friend of our stalwart and gallant soldier Winnie Mandela, and on her hand she still carries the bracelets that she was given by her, and we are tracing her journey first of this American Republican woman. Becoming
Slave.
a slave.
How did I become?
You know,
woke up.
Yes, and how she moved to become where she is. Because right towards the end, we are having one of us reflecting into us. So I want to give enough space, no rules, so that we can actually hear an honest opinion from one amongst us, outside of us, within us, with us,
yes.
to us, from us. I mean, I don't know which other.
Well, our Nigerian cameraman. Nigeria's in the house everywhere. You got Nigeria, I got Nigeria.
I'm looking like Abuja today. You are a queen of Nigeria. Today we are celebrating Nigeria, maybe.
Well, you want to know something? I just want to tell you, I was the first African slave descendant to come back through the door of return in Badagry, Nigeria.
Wow.
So I've been made a citizen of Nigeria through becoming back. So I'll show you those pictures.
They went this way.
I came back.
You came back
yes.
this way.
They had a ceremony.
Wow.
2018, 2017, 2016. They had a big ceremony in a place called Badagry, Nigeria,
yes.
where many of the slaves
were
left.
sent out.
And so they had a big ceremony for coming back.
The return.
And I was the first person
to walk
into the door.
Wow. I did Gori Island.
Yes.
I went to Gori Island in Senegal.
In Senegal.
Yes, and you can smell something when you stand in that room.
Something.
You can almost hear
it's tragic.
Even hundreds of years, you can still smell
you can feel the spirits.
The spirits are still in that space. It's
so
amazing.
How
did you come back? Let's go. We're in London. We're in London.
So,
by the way, my grandmother brought me up. So I love stories.
Okay, this is a movie.
I love stories. We must shoot a movie one of these days.
So here I am at C.S. Lewis's house, who's written all these books. I'm a C.S. Lewis scholar, all of these wonderful thinkers and talkers and artists, and I'm in a house that looks like Appalachia. So I got to do my stuff. I use my Africa bag. I can't believe I'm still going to Nigeria where all these bugs and diseases are going to just kill me, but I have to keep my word.
This is all in your mind?
In my mind, but it's been put in my mind by the worldview from America, from the white man's view that is convinced. Remember, or maybe you don't, there's a paper called NS-46, and that was written during Brzezinski's time when Jimmy Carter was president, that said, by all means, ensure that the African and the African American never connect. It's a policy. It's still in the books of America.
Wow.
It's a policy. It's a policy. It's
the black American must not meet with the African.
Never. And so everything that we were fed about Africa had that goal in mind. And I was definitely was an adherent. I was a poster child for loving nothing about Africa.
My word.
Nothing. So we land in Lagos. Two men come up on the plane. Because now remember, I'm the guest of the president of the nation. It's nighttime. 2 men come on the plane. They
Security
escort me
office.
off the plane onto a private plane. And they fly me to a brand new city called Abuja.
Abuja.
Now it's nighttime. I can't really see, but I'm feeling like I'm in New York.
See lots of lights and everything.
Everything. And at that time it was a Nikon Noga hotel. They had just opened a Noga, a Hilton Noga.
Yes.
The president has arranged for me to be in a suite. I go into this hotel. I could have been anywhere in the world.
You were in New York.
I could have been in New York. I could have been in Paris. I could have been in London. And I am, at that moment, whatever God is doing, I am flat out finished. I am so embarrassed. I'm so racist. I realize I am such a racist. I have learned
Wow.
now this is still nighttime, but I'm in a hotel, so you know my African
Everything
band,
you want there, bubble bath is there.
everything,
Showers there, TV is there, fridge is there. I've been to the Hilton. I've been to the
and
Hilton
all
in
the
Abuja.
amenities.
Yeah.
So there's shower gel, there's everything.
You wanted to carry with you.
Everything,
It's there.
everything yes.
That's interesting.
Okay. Then I have this little white paper about the man I'm going to see. Yeah, and he's got problems. I'm not trying to gloss over what he did and some of the things he did, but also trained to do that. I mean, because these European nations prop up despots. You know, they love them because they can keep the rest of us in. But that's a story for another day. But anyway, the next morning, they come and pick me up in a beautiful car. They drive me to his palace.
Being escorted.
Escorted. Now I'm already messed up. I'm messed up. But I still in my mind I'm getting ready to meet an evil, mean, hatred man who's gonna probably eat me for breakfast. Still. Here comes this little man with a fez on his head, these beautiful traditional marks, and comes to me and bows and thanks me for trusting him to allow me to visit.
Wow. I met the humility of Africa.
Whatever was about him
Disappeared.
right there. If
He was a human being.
If it was a human being, it was humanity, it was humility. I'm dressed really like a white
kill.
woman. I have a pillbox hat. I look like the total.
Queen.
I look like
of
a
London.
total, the Queen of London. I am totally white. I have a pillbox hat.
To the teeth.
I have on gloves.
Gloves, my
I
word.
have on a Jackie Kennedy type suit. It's hot as hell. I have on stockings and high heel shoes.
My
And
word.
this African entity, king, bows down to me and thanks me for trusting him to come and hear his side of the story. I was supposed to be there one day. I left 3 weeks later.
My word. It looks like the witchcraft of Africa.
And they took me.
It-
And from that day to this day, I've never left Africa.
Oh, man.
I've never left Africa. My family just knew I had lost my mind. I had gone crazy. Because when I tell you I was a proponent of the American dream, the American way, little black girl ends up going to school and working for a big oil company and going to law school. Really? Going to Africa to do what?
What?
There's no toilets. There's no bathrooms. There's no...
The snakes everywhere.
there's dirt
monkeys are
everywhere
swinging
and-
from the trees. And
Hey, and then I got a chance to see Abuja. Oh, it wasn't 2 years old or 3 years old.
no, man.
It was spotless. It was pristine. It was just.
How do we move from Nigeria to South Africa?
Oh gosh, now you're asking lots of questions. Okay, so then anyway, I ended up.
3 weeks later.
3 weeks later, then I am ended up representing Nigeria's point of view to the State Department, which helped do some things along with other people. Like I said, Ambassador Bennett was also very much involved in moving the envelope to at least conversation, you know. And then 96, I think, 91, I went home to Israel to go to school. go to
So you
Hebrew
didn't go back to
University.
America, you went further
No,
east?
no, I went back to America because
Okay.
I got kids and family and business. I was a businesswoman. I had a church. I was a
Okay.
pastor. So it took me a few years. A group of us, lawyers, law people, and legal professionals started deciding we wanted to look at elections because we weren't happy with amnesty and all those white people telling us that black people are corrupt.
Okay.
And especially if you've been in any American politics, you'd be like, really? Talk to the hand.
Yeah.
So we ended up looking at different countries' politics, and so we looked at South Africa in '94.
94.
By that time, I was living in going back and forth to Israel for school. I
Okay.
going to do digs in Ashkelon and blah blah blah, and so then. 96, I moved to Israel with my son and my armor bearer to really unpack Israel as an anthropological, geographical reality that it's Northeast Africa. And aside from what you say with the Suez Canal, it's part of Africa. And
It
so,
is Africa.
And everything.
The same platonic
everything is the
stone.
same- everything is on the, I mean, what do
We're
you
on the
say?
same plate.
Middle East where, you know? And so that journey took me 10
Actually, all
years.
maps say North Africa.
All it's the Northeast Africa. What are you saying? So anyway, I spent 10 years on the ground with our community, a Hebrew Israelite community in Israel, understanding how to build a world too, because we have been so messed up.
How to build
in
a
our-
nation, yeah.
How to build not just a nation, how to actually build a world, because God is expecting us to actually build a world. Have a world view. It's not just this a small place, but how to have a world view. Because we were, and I hate this word chosen because it's a horrible. It's been used so badly.
It ends up being negative,
It's so bad.
segregates
Yeah,
and eliminates others.
But we have been selected, and it's not just an honor. It is a responsibility. It's
responsibility.
deep. It's not just we're the people, but our world was to live with God. And then so impact the rest of the world.
Impact the rest of the world.
I try to explain to people the 10 Commandments wasn't given to the world. It was given to a people to actualize it so that other people
Can
could
see.
say, I want that.
Wow.
And of course, Moses writes that in Deuteronomy 6:4. He says, people will be jealous and say, who are these people?
We want their God also.
Yeah, we want their God. You get Nebuchadnezzar to say Daniel's God is God, and anybody who messes with him, we're going to kill you. So our job was not to lord it over anybody or take advantage of anybody, but to live
Or
like...
evangelize the world. We're teaching them the 10 commandments. You must leave them.
No evangelism.
You must leave the commandments.
Because the word evangelize in Greek means show to be. There's no talking in the word. That's the other thing about teaching. You need to understand the etymology of a word.
Of a word.
So it's not about going telling.
Just showing
It's
the
going showing.
show the words.
Show the word. Live the word. So the things that God gave Moses to tell us were all about showing.
I like that part.
Showing.
I like that part. I'll be throwing some curveballs as we're going along. But
That's
to me,
not nice.
To
I'm
me,
an old lady. Be nice to me.
to hear that from a Hebrew Israelite talking to the Christian community, who now think that they own the Bible, they own God, they own salvation. They've now taken the chosen. That as the Christian community, they are the chosen. To a certain extent that even their arrogance towards the Hebrews, their arrogance towards the Israelites, their arrogance towards Jerusalem supersedes. They almost look at them with the finger and says, you crucified our Messiah. They've almost like extracted the entire backbone of the gospel, where they've gone to evangelize, showing the words, when in fact they must be living their lives. And I think that's quite, for me, that drops a mic. Because unless the people are able to live the instructions and the principles of Yah, it's not worth talking about. And by the way, just an offline also, I went to Dimona.
Yes.
In Israel.
Yes.
Spent some few days there, rubbing some shoulders with some Hebrew Israelites who left in the 60s.
Yes, you missed me. That's where I lived in Dimona. I lived in Dimona for 10 years. Well, I had a house also in Herzliya, Patuak, and still have a
So
sister.
I've been following you, see?
Yeah, you have been following me. You just didn't tell me. You know that. Okay, let's go and unpack just a little bit, because there are so many lovely. I pastored a church for almost 12 years. There's so many lovely, and I pastored as a Christian who was a Hebrew Israelite, and taught the Hebrew Israelite methodology.
Yeah.
Okay. All right. So let's just unpack that for a minute, because the war began in heaven. So by 321.
Council of Nicaea.
Yeah. Paul created Christianity. Okay, so let's go all the way back to Yeshua. Yeshua is a Hebrew Messiah, so he wasn't a Christian
Maybe before,
Messiah.
help us there. We'll come back to 321.
Okay.
The whole Christian community right now talks about Jesus.
Yes.
All right? You are a Hebrew Israelite. Was there ever a person called Jesus who walked the face of the earth? I'm saying so academically. I'm saying so etymologically. And I want you to hear me at this level.
I'm hearing you.
Was there ever a person called Jesus who walked the face of the earth?
Okay, so let's be fair. Because you're not being fair. You're not being fair.
I'm being mischievous.
You're not playing fair. Okay. By the time the person, the personage upon which the European Roman characterization of this guy Jesus is based on a real live person called Yeshua HaMashiach.
Yeshua HaMashiach.
Yes, Yeshua
That's the
HaMashiach.
real one.
That's wait a minute. That's the real name.
Name.
Let's start with the name first. And that person actually lived, and aside from our records, there's extra biblical records that indicate that he lived. And there's biblical records that we ascribe to that says he's coming, whether it's Isaiah, Jeremiah, even in the garden, God says he's coming. Moses says he's coming. So everybody's saying he's coming. Daniel gives us actually the time and date he's coming. If you look at the prophecy of the big body,
the big image,
the
stone that hid the image.
Yeah, so we're gonna say right now, because I never saw George Washington either, and so he lived and walked the earth. Yeshua HaMashiach ben Yosef, the son of Joseph, the King of Kings, who has come based on prophetic word, which is why Matthew's gospel is so important, because Matthew's a Hebrew Israelite writing to Hebrew Israelites, and he's trying to prove to them based on their books. Because remember, there's no New Testament.
Yes, they're writing it.
They're writing it. So Matthew is pointing us, Sankofa, pointing us to all of the prophecies.
It starts off with the genealogy.
Yeah, the genealogy.
Just to...
Yeah, that brings you to this guy.
Yeah.
Okay. Now, by the time Paul goes to Rome to the Gentiles, he goes to places where that, why? Because now his name could never be Jesus inside of Africa, because there's no J in Hebrew.
There's no J in Africa.
So there's no J in Hebrew. So it can't ever be Jesus. But God knows us. God knew what was coming. He understood what was coming. So in a text in Psalm, I've memorized it, but I can't always tell you the place. It says, I will honor my word even above my name. Now here, Paul writes and says there's a name above every name and every knee will bow. We get that. But God knew that the name would be one of the places that changes. Now let me just go back 1 second about that. Every time there's slavery, the first thing the slave owner does is change your diet, change your name, change your clothes, and change your God.
That's Daniel chapter 1.
That's Daniel chapter 1.
Yes. Change everything.
Change everything. It's Nehemiah, it's Daniel. It's Joseph.
And colonialism.
It's Joseph, same thing. Change the name, change the God, change the clothes, and change the diet.
Change the diet, change the deity also.
Everything, change your God. So God knew that ahead of time, because he's Alpha and Omega. He knows everything from beginning to end. So he put in the word to tell us he will honor his word, the word even above the name. Now, the importance of that is John's first chapter. In the beginning was the Word. So I tell people who I make very angry and upset that this Bible is not the Word of God. This Bible contains the Word of God. But God himself says in John 1, and in the beginning he was the Word was with God, the Word was God. So Yeshua is the Word. Yeshua is the Word, not the written.
Not the written word.
Not this,
the person.
The person.
The testimony is the word.
The testimony is the Word. So the first way God teaches us, this is the third testimony, the written Bible.
The written one. The first one?
But the first one is Yeshua himself.
Is the person? The second one?
The person. The second one is the Holy Spirit.
The Holy Spirit?
That confirms.
That confirms.
And then you'll find
the word.
Some information in that word.
Let's hold it right there. I see one of my guests is just popping in now. You give us a few minutes and we put order to this thing, and we are going to have Benson Matinyarare sitting at the center here, and we begin to roast and run through this Sankofa program together with us. But I love what I'm hearing. And this is the most beautiful. Some of you guys were busy lambasting me and lacerating me. He no longer believes in Jesus. He no longer a Christian. He has backslidden. Hey, don't hurry me now. Sit down, study your scripts nicely, and hear the people who have information talking to you. Don't idolize and fantasize European methods of interpreting scriptures and attacking a worldview and a trajectory that is altogether European. I refuse.
Yes.
And I have freedom. I refuse to accept that as my Messiah, for the simple reason that the indoctrination, the packaging of the Messiah becomes European. Show me the truth and I'll believe it. Right after the break, we'll be back here again, moving further and looking at the geopolitical issues and how they relate to the religious space. I think it's going to be fireworks today. Don't go away. Don't move anywhere. Get yourself a cup of tea. I need about 2 minutes. Just make sure we put another chair here for the guest that is coming.
Feel the heat.
Alright. To make it through this journey alive, you're gonna need someone to teach you the ninja way.
Don't just stand there, kill someone! Feel the excitement. Feel the heat with Starsat.
China saying that the latest outbreak is under control.
Feel the heat.
The cabinet has decided to ease restrictions on certain other economic activities.
I don't want to be a white person who sits by and does nothing, so that's why I'm here today.
Feel the excitement.
We are here to unite, because what we are fighting for is to stop institutional racism.
Feel the heat with Starsat. Feel the heat.
You said you love me. I do.
Sure.
Yeah. Leave my house right now.
Oh, no, you don't. Get out of my way. Get out.
That is an abomination. All the love you promised me.
Do you have a boyfriend? Yeah?
Feel the excitement.
You don't know how I've been longing for this.
Feel the heat with StarSat. Challenge your ordinary. Experience the extraordinary.
Not only the government, the municipality here has had no plan.
Now, I believe that my peace is my most valuable asset.
Absolutely beautiful!
This is exactly what I was looking for.
DJ Khaled!
It is a day to celebrate.
We're ready for action.
I like it when it's nice and soft. Yeah, that is nice.
How was it like growing up in Nigeria? Yes, sir, you know what it is.
Feeling is there that, you're doing something special.
Stop being so dramatic, Mira.
You should just be what you want to be.
Experience the extraordinary with StarSat. Feel the heat. Feel the excitement. Feel the heat with StarSat.
The coronavirus outbreak.
Experience the extraordinary.
Tremendous waste and tremendous fraud. Mexico is, in fact, you will soon find out. It is a day to celebrate.
We don't approve at all what's going on.
Well, I don't know if it's necessarily unusual.
Challenge your ordinary.
Not only the government, the municipality here has had no plan.
Experience the extraordinary with StarSat. Challenge your ordinary. Experience the extraordinary.
Not only the government, the municipality here has had no plan.
Now, I believe that my peace is my most valuable asset.
Absolutely beautiful!
This is exactly what I was looking for.
DJ Khaled!
It is a day to celebrate.
We're ready for action.
I like it when it's nice and soft. Yeah, that is nice.
How was it like growing up in Nigeria? Yes, sir, you know what it is.
Feeling is there that, you're doing something special.
Stop being so dramatic, Mira.
You should just be what you want to be.